You're sitting in your car about to drive to work when suddenly your heart skips a beat. Not figuratively, literally. Your hands go cold, a flash of panic. But it passes. You shake it off. Maybe it was stress. Maybe coffee on an empty stomach. You drive on, convincing yourself it's nothing. Weeks pass, you start waking up tired despite getting 7 hours of sleep. Your digestion is off. Your skin looks dull. You're forgetting names, walking into rooms unsure of why you're there. And still, you brush it off. But here's what no one tells you. These are the early whispers of aging gone wrong. Not aging with wisdom and grace, but aging with inflammation, hidden malnutrition, and quiet cellular decline. In Japan, these signs are considered urgent red flags, not background noise. And for decades, their oldest doctors have looked at one thing first when these symptoms appear. Not medications, not tests, but your plate. What are you eating every single day? Because in Okinawa, home to the highest concentration of centenarians in the world, what you eat daily is the medicine or the poison that shapes your entire lifespan. And yes, there is one food they eat every single day. It's not exotic, it's not expensive, but it is almost completely missing from most American kitchens. This isn't about fads, it's not about miracle pills. It's about understanding what some of the world's oldest doctors and healthiest people know and do every single day. And in today's video, guided by the insights of Dr. Sanjay Gupta, we'll uncover what that food is, why it works, and how you can start integrating it into your life right now, to add years to your life and more life to your years. If this caught your attention, subscribe to the channel and comment below. Have you ever ignored a symptom like this? Let's keep going. In Okinawa, Japan, 100-year-olds still ride bikes, tend their gardens, and laugh with friends over dinner. The question is how? Their genes aren't magical. Their environment isn't futuristic. It all comes down to lifestyle, and at the heart of it is food. Specifically, one staple that shows up in nearly every meal: sweet potatoes. Yes, sweet potatoes. Not the kind buried in marshmallows on Thanksgiving. We're talking about the Okinawan purple sweet potato, a food so rich in antioxidants, fiber, and phytonutrients that scientists have studied it for decades. And no, it's not just because it's a vegetable. This humble tuber is doing something extraordinary inside the body. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition found that the compounds in purple sweet potatoes actively reduce chronic inflammation, the silent process behind heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and Alzheimer's. Another study from the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition revealed that these sweet potatoes help regulate blood sugar far more effectively than white rice or bread, which is critical in preventing the blood sugar spikes that exhaust the pancreas and lead to early aging. Here's the kicker. Okinawan centenarians don't treat this food as a side dish. It's a primary energy source, making up over 60% of their traditional diet. That's right, not meat, not processed grains, sweet potatoes. Compare that to the standard American diet, where ultra-processed foods make up nearly 70% of daily calories. We've traded ancestral nourishment for convenience, and it's showing in our skyrocketing rates of obesity, metabolic disorders, and premature death. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, in his interviews with aging researchers across Asia, emphasizes that low inflammation equals high longevity, and the Okinawan sweet potato may be one of the most anti-inflammatory foods on the planet. So here's your first step. Swap one processed carb each day, like white bread or crackers, for roasted sweet potato. Purple if you can find it, orange if you can't. It's a small shift. But over time, it can be the difference between aging slowly and aging poorly. Imagine this: a 97-year-old man in Okinawa sits down to eat. He bows his head, gives thanks, and slowly chews each bite. His plate isn't overflowing. There's no rush, no TV, just food, gratitude, and connection. This isn't just cultural, it's biological. Japanese centenarians don't just eat different foods. They eat with a fundamentally different relationship to food. One of the most powerful longevity principles they live by is called hara hachi bu, a Confucian teaching that means Eat until you are 80% full. This ancient practice prevents overeating by giving the brain time to catch up with the stomach, and modern science confirms its wisdom. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that caloric restriction, not starvation but mindful reduction, slows aging at the cellular level, reduces oxidative stress, and lowers the risk of chronic disease. In the US, we're trained to clean our plates, portion sizes have doubled, and we often eat distracted, scrolling, driving, working. The result? We overeat by hundreds of calories per day without even realizing it. Over decades, those invisible calories create very visible consequences: stubborn weight gain, insulin resistance, fatigue, and inflammation. Dr. Sanjay Gupta often points out in his research on brain health that overeating triggers inflammation, not just in the body, but in the brain, specifically in the hippocampus, where memory and learning live. Eating less, mindfully, literally protects your brain from aging. So how can you start practicing hara hachibu today? Eat slowly, put your fork down between bites. Use smaller plates. Visual cues trick the brain. Pause halfway through your meal, ask yourself, am I satisfied? Remove distractions. No screens while eating. And here's a surprising tip. Start your meals with a broth-based soup or salad. This is a common practice in Japan that helps fill the stomach with high-volume, low-calorie foods, helping you naturally feel full with fewer calories. Longevity isn't about extreme dieting or endless supplements. It's about retraining your body to listen, like the Okinawans do, knowing when enough is enough. You won't find many 100-year-olds in Okinawa drinking soda, devouring fast food, or eating dinner at 10 p.m. That's not by chance. Japan's oldest doctors and longest-living citizens are remarkably consistent about what they don't eat, and what they avoid may be just as important as what they include. So what's first on the blacklist? Ultra-processed foods. In the US, these make up nearly 70% of the average diet. We're talking about packaged snacks, sugary cereals, processed meats, and frozen dinners loaded with additives. These foods are engineered for addiction, not nutrition. They spike your blood sugar, overload your liver with synthetic fats, and create a hormonal storm that leaves you hungrier, more tired, and more inflamed than before you ate. According to a 2023 study published in BMJ, high consumption of ultra-processed foods is linked to a greater risk of early death, cardiovascular disease, and depression. Japan, especially in its rural longevity zones, has some of the lowest rates of ultra-processed food consumption in the world. That's not coincidence, it's protection. The second silent killer they avoid: excessive animal protein, especially red and processed meats. While protein is essential, Okinawan elders traditionally consume it in moderation, mostly from plant-based sources like tofu, miso, and legumes. Dr. Sanjay Gupta notes in his brain health work that high intakes of saturated fat, common in red meats, can contribute to plaque buildup in arteries, not just in the heart but in the brain too. That's a fast track to cognitive decline. And finally, they avoid eating late at night. While many Americans eat their largest meal after sunset, Japanese elders typically eat their last bite by early evening. This gives the body time to digest and repair overnight. A study from Cell Metabolism found that late-night eating disrupts circadian rhythms, reduces fat metabolism, and increases insulin resistance, even when calories are the same. So what's the takeaway? Cut back on packaged and fast foods, limit red and processed meats, eat your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. These aren't extreme measures, they're timeless habits, and for Japan's centenarians, they've made the difference between surviving their 70s and thriving into their 100s. Every morning before the noise of the day begins, a quiet ritual happens in homes across Okinawa. A small cup is filled, steam rises, no sugar, no cream, just a simple, warm, earthy brew, green tea, not the bottled kind with sweeteners and preservatives. We're talking about fresh brewed whole-leaf green tea, often a specific type called sanpin cha, a blend of green tea and jasmine popular in Okinawa. And it's not just for comfort, it's for survival. Japanese centenarians don't just drink green tea because it's traditional. They drink it because of what it does inside the body. Green tea is rich in catechins, especially EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, a powerful antioxidant shown to fight inflammation, support brain health, and reduce the risk of heart disease and certain cancers. A major study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed over 40,000 Japanese adults and found that those who drank 5 or more cups of green tea per day had significantly lower rates of heart disease and stroke and lived longer overall. 5 cups may sound like a lot, but in Okinawa it's just part of the rhythm of the day. And here's something most people miss. Green tea also supports digestion and fat metabolism. Unlike coffee, which spikes cortisol, green tea provides a gentler caffeine boost alongside L-theanine, a compound that promotes calm focus without the jitters. The result? A drink that energizes without stressing the body. Dr. Sanjay Gupta often highlights green tea in his work on cognitive longevity. EGCG, he notes, can cross the blood-brain barrier, protecting neurons from oxidative damage and potentially slowing the progression of cognitive decline. Want to start your own tea ritual? Here's how. Choose loose-leaf or high-quality bagged green tea, ideally organic. Steep for 2 to 3 minutes in hot, not boiling water, to preserve antioxidants. Drink unsweetened, ideally between meals to aid metabolism. Add jasmine or lemon for extra antioxidants and flavor. If you're used to coffee or soda, this may seem like a small change, but remember, small daily habits compound over decades. For the people of Okinawa, green tea isn't a beverage, it's a medicine, a meditation, and a shield against aging. You can't see it, you can't taste it. But this single nutrient is quietly responsible for healthy bones, strong muscles, a calm nervous system, and even protection against heart disease. Yet nearly 70% of Americans are deficient in it. In Japan, especially among its centenarians, the story is very different. We're talking about magnesium. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical processes in the body, from stabilizing blood sugar and regulating blood pressure to producing energy in your cells. When you don't get enough, you don't just feel tired, you're vulnerable to arrhythmias, anxiety, muscle cramps, and accelerated aging. In Okinawa, magnesium intake is consistently high, and it's no coincidence. Traditional Japanese diets are rich in magnesium-dense foods like seaweed, wakame, nori, kombu, tofu, and other soy products, brown rice and buckwheat noodles, pumpkin seeds, and sesame leafy greens like komatsuna and spinach. These foods appear in daily meals, not as health food, but as cultural staples. And this mineral powerhouse may be one of the unsung heroes of their longevity. Dr. Sanjay Gupta points to magnesium in several interviews as a key player in brain and heart health. He notes that magnesium helps regulate NMDA receptors in the brain, protecting against overstimulation that leads to neurodegeneration. It also helps relax blood vessels, improving circulation and reducing the risk of hypertension, a leading cause of stroke in the US. A 2014 meta-analysis in BMC Medicine found that higher magnesium intake was associated with a lower risk of total mortality, especially from heart-related causes. Yet due to poor soil quality, processed foods, and low vegetable intake, most Americans aren't even meeting the minimum daily requirements. So how do you fix it? Add seaweed to soups, salads, or rice bowls. Choose whole grains over refined ones. Snack on a handful of pumpkin seeds or almonds. Consider a magnesium supplement, but food sources are always best absorbed. And perhaps most importantly, eat like nutrition is medicine, not afterthought. To the Japanese elders, magnesium isn't something they track. It's something they built into their daily rhythm through generations of wise eating. At 6 a.m., while most Americans are hitting snooze, an 88-year-old woman in Okinawa is already up. She's tending her garden, pulling weeds, carrying buckets of water, moving with purpose and grace. No Fitbit, no dumbbells, no gym membership. And yet, her body is strong, her posture is upright, her mind is clear. What's her secret? It's not intense exercise. It's something far more sustainable, natural movement. In Japan's longevity zones, the elders don't work out. They just keep moving all day long. This includes gardening, walking, cooking from scratch, sitting on the floor, which requires strength and balance to get up from, and using stairs instead of elevators. It's not just about burning calories. It's about keeping muscles, joints, and circulation active through life-integrated movement. Compare that to the typical American lifestyle. Long commutes, desk jobs, and relaxation that often involves sitting even more. Then we try to make up for this inactivity with a 30-minute gym session, which, while helpful, can't fully undo 16 hours of sitting, Dr. Sanjay Gupta emphasizes in his research that movement acts like a fertilizer for the brain. It increases blood flow, encourages neuroplasticity, and helps regulate mood through natural endorphin release. In fact, daily low-intensity movement has been shown to reduce the risk of dementia, heart disease, and even some cancers. One study published in The Lancet Public Health found that just 15 minutes of light daily activity significantly reduced mortality risk, especially in older adults. This means that small, consistent movement may be even more effective for longevity than sporadic high-intensity workouts. So how do you bring this into your life? Start gardening, even if it's just herbs on a balcony. Take walking breaks every hour, even for 5 minutes. Do more chores manually. Sweep, wash dishes, take stairs. Sit on the floor sometimes, and stand up without using your hands. And here's the Japanese mindset shift. Movement is not punishment for eating. It's part of living. You don't need to train for a marathon to age well. You just need to keep your body engaged in ways that are meaningful and woven into your daily life. Picture this. A 102-year-old man sits on a porch, sipping green tea while chatting with friends. They've known each other for 80 years. They meet daily. They laugh, share stories, bring each other food, check in when someone's ill. This isn't a rare scene in Okinawa. It's called a moai. A moai is a lifelong social group, people who commit to supporting one another emotionally, financially, and practically throughout life. These aren't just friends. They're chosen families. And for many Japanese centenarians, their moai has been their most important health tool of all. While the US focuses on medications, gym memberships, and superfoods, Japan has long understood something even more powerful: community. Loneliness isn't just painful, it's deadly. A landmark 2023 study published in Nature Human Behavior found that social isolation increases the risk of early death as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It also raises the risk of heart disease, stroke, cognitive decline, and depression. And yet millions of Americans over 50 report chronic loneliness. Meanwhile, in Japan's longevity zones, elders remain socially active, connected, and purposeful. They volunteer, they participate in community events, they feel needed, they belong. Dr. Sanjay Gupta has spoken about the profound connection between social health and brain health. Engaging conversations, shared laughter, and emotional support don't just feel good. They stimulate neurochemicals that protect memory and emotional stability. In fact, strong social ties are associated with a 50% increased chance of survival, according to research in PLOS medicine. So how can you build your own version of a moai? Invest in a few close friendships, not hundreds of followers. Schedule regular meetups, even virtual ones. Be vulnerable, share honestly, and support others when they do. Join a group or club that aligns with your interests: gardening, walking, music, reading. Check in on your elders and neighbors. Connection is a two-way gift. The oldest Japanese doctors will tell you, a lonely heart ages faster than an unhealthy one. In Okinawa, people don't just live long, they live connected, and that makes all the difference. If you're inspired by everything you've learned so far, you might be asking, how do I actually start? What does a day in the life of a long-living Japanese elder look like, and how can I adapt it to my life here? This chapter is your answer. Let's walk through a 24-hour blueprint that mirrors the lifestyle of Japan's healthiest centenarians. You don't have to live in Okinawa to benefit. Just bring their principles into your own rhythm. 6:30 a.m. Wake with purpose, not panic. Japanese elders often rise with the sun. They don't jolt out of bed and grab their phones. Instead, they wake up gradually, open windows, and start the day with calm intention. Consider beginning your day with a few deep breaths, a short stretch, or a moment of gratitude. Longevity tip: avoid checking email or social media for the first 30 minutes of the day to reduce cortisol spikes. 7 a.m. Hydrate and brew green tea. Before food, they drink water or warm tea. Green tea with jasmine or matcha is ideal, hydrating, energizing, and packed with antioxidants. Longevity tip: add a squeeze of lemon to enhance absorption of catechins. 7:30 a.m. Breakfast with fiber, color, and balance. Breakfast might include purple sweet potatoes, miso soup, a boiled egg, and some sautéed greens. There are no sugary cereals or processed pastries, just real, nutrient-dense food. Longevity tip: eat mindfully, seated, and without screens. Remember Hara Hachi Bu, stop at 80% full, 9 a.m. Move naturally. There's no gym time blocked out, but there's movement. Gardening, cleaning, walking to the market. Find ways to move your body as part of your life. Longevity tip: set a timer to stretch or take a quick walk every hour if you have a desk job. 12:30 p.m. Eat light, eat together. Lunch is often the largest meal of the day. Think brown rice, tofu, seaweed salad, and fermented vegetables. Meals are shared, not rushed, and almost never eaten alone. Longevity tip: make one meal a day completely plant-based to reduce inflammation and improve gut health. 2 p.m. Rest, but don't sedate. A short nap or restful pause is common, but it's not an escape. It's a reset. Just 20-30 minutes of rest can restore energy and mental clarity. 4 p.m. Social connection and light movement. A walk with a friend, tea with neighbors, chatting with family. This is when elders lean into their moai, their trusted social circle. Longevity tip: call someone instead of texting. Relationships protect your brain. 6 p.m. Light dinner. Early evening dinner is early, small, and simple. Often soup, steamed veggies, or a rice bowl with pickled vegetables. Heavy dinners are rare. Longevity tip: eat at least 3 hours before bed to support metabolism and reduce inflammation. 8 p.m. Digital detox and mental stillness. There's no late-night Netflix binge. Instead, elders might read, listen to calming music, or reflect on their day. This helps prepare the brain for deep, restorative sleep. Longevity tip: dim the lights and avoid screens an hour before bed. 9:30 p.m. Sleep in sync with nature. They sleep early, rise early, and align their body with the rhythms of light and dark, what science calls the circadian clock. Good sleep isn't a luxury. It's a foundation. One day, that's all it takes to begin. You don't have to move to Japan. You just have to think like them, eat like them, and live with the same sense of purpose, connection, and simplicity. Start tomorrow. Your future self is waiting.